just like a bat. How the hell someone gets in our way, someone don't feel so well.
Your eye, mine hair, or wonder why mine hair. I always said that I was a rover. You mustn't knit your brow, you should have known by now. Every cause to doubt me, mine hair. Bye-bye, mine hair. I'll be a day, mine hair. Es war so gut, mein Hair, bye-bye. Du kennst mich wohl, mein Hair, unbelievable, mein Hair. Ich nehme sie. Sneak ball, mein Hair. Und bye bye, bye bye, mein lieber Hair, farewell, mein lieber Hair. It was a fine affair, but now it's over. Though I used to care, I knew the open air
Each season, the Fifth Avenue Theater introduces thousands of young people to the magic of musical theater through our extensive education and outreach initiatives. These programs offer opportunities for young people to gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of our great indigenous American art form, the musical.
5, 6, 7, 8,
3 years ago, we began our newest program, Musical Theater Camps for Teenagers. The camp instructors are working theater professionals who bring first-hand experience to the students. Past instructors have included the Fifth Avenue's producing artistic director, David Armstrong, Broadway performers Ann Allgood, Kim Huber and Alan Fitzpatrick, as well as Tony nominees Jane Lanier and Paddy Cohenauer.
Now warm it up a bit.
So I'm hoping that I'm getting through to them, and I hope I've turned, some good performers into even better ones.
It's a lot of work. It's kind of like we're training, We get homework sometimes, so we have to go home, study, look at our script, and so it's a lot of outside work too. But the teachers, they're amazing.
Well, that's what's nice is when you have people that have actually been there and done the stuff that you're dreaming to do, you get a first-hand account of what they are talking about. It's not someone who's seen it from the outside like you have and is talking about it. I mean, these people, they know how much work it took and they know what you need to do to prepare.
This afternoon we have about 100 high school students who are coming in to basically experience and learn about productions. Today's workshop is a dance workshop. So let's get up on stage and let's start.
During the run of each of our productions, we offer special workshops for high school students that we call Fridays at the Fifth.
Great.
In addition to attending the performance, students participate in workshops designed to deepen their experience of seeing the show. They interact with the show's creators and cast members and meet and connect with other high school musical theater enthusiasts.
It's a great educational experience, I think. If I would have had an experience like this to go to, where you can actually see that there are hundreds of people backstage, all professional, all working, and all highly skilled, that's a life-changing experience right there. I mean, I just can't imagine being a kid and walking backstage even, and just looking at sets hanging up over your head, and automation under the floor, steel cables pulling sets on and off, and all the costumers are upstairs right now, pressing all the clothes, washing all the clothes, and that's the scale of a production like this is really amazing, and I think for a child to see that, for someone in high school, they can see the opportunity that they have. If this is something they want to do, they can do it.
And low, get lower.
I get to see my friends that I haven't seen for a really long time, and it gets a feel of how real rehearsals would be.
And the Fifth Avenue just provides such incredible instructors and such quality classes that they will teach you everything you need to know, and so many kids don't have access to that where they are. It's really important.
The Fifth Avenue Awards is truly a night to remember. This Tony Award-style ceremony was created to honor the work, talent, and commitment that Washington State High School students and faculty devote to their yearly musical productions.
I think this is probably one of the most wonderful nights that you could be a part of. The enthusiasm, the energy that you see, just unbelievable. You hear it now.
It's the Oscars and a rock concert kind of rolled into one.
Oh, it's so wonderful. It's so great. It's not a football game. It's a show.
It's taken all my courage to approach you, not to mention all my stamina to follow you across the hills and deserts. But I feel as if I'm ready to confess to you the feelings that I've hidden with great diligence and labor. Behind the facade of your odd little next door neighbor. Bobby, come the door, brings you tell me no matter what we do, we're gonna real bad shit.
The Fifth Avenue Awards was created to try to make sure that we would include everyone, not just those performing on stage, but also the backstage people, stage managers, choreographers, stagehands. We give out one for outstanding lighting design. People who make the program, we try to give out an award for that. So we really want to be sure that everyone who's involved in creating theater, because it isn't just actors, it isn't just singers, and it isn't just dancers.
During each school year, our adjudicators attend high school musical productions and evaluate them, making nominations in various categories.
Everyone who steps out on the stage, you get the reward of an audience, the recognition from professionals, companies all throughout Washington State. It's a wonderful feeling, and I'm glad that the students have that opportunity.
I come from a small town, and there's only, I think the population is 4,000. I think it was just 2 years ago. So when I saw all these incredible other high school students, I was thinking, oh, there's no way I stand a chance to this. So I visualized it so much, just over and over, what it would look like me walking up the stage and what would I say. So when it actually happened, it was almost like I was floating on air. I was like, yeah, is this actually happening to me? Or am I just like visualizing it again?
Wow. There's a lot of you out there.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. We performed for our whole group, and that was one of the most exhilarating things I've ever done so far. It really made me realize, wow, I really want to do this when I grow up.
Well, putting on a musical, I think, is one of the most educational experiences you could have. It involves almost every aspect of the curriculum and learning. If you're doing Thoroughly Modern Millie, which was one of the schools that was there tonight, that's a show set in the 1920s. So in order to be in that show, in order to do that show justice, you have to do a tremendous amount of research about the 1920s, what was going on, and it can lead to a whole range of issues that are totally tied into what the students need to be learning. Not to mention the musical aspects, the staging aspects, the physics of the sets and the lighting, the skills of working together and working as a team, and putting on a play has that in spades. That's totally a collaborative experience, and an experience where you're totally dependent on each other.
Last year, over 80 schools and 8,000 students participated statewide. Nearly 50,000 young people have been involved in this program since it began. Our Adventure Musical Theater Touring Company brings the excitement and joy of musical theater directly to school children throughout the Northwest. These original musicals are designed to travel and be performed virtually anywhere. In many cases, these productions are a child's first exposure to the magic of live musical theater.
And so I bought a book and an eclair. We got lost in Seattle.
AMT musicals are created by Northwest writers and composers to enhance and enrich a school's curriculum. Past shows dramatized such topics as the Lewis and Clark Journey, Japanese internment camps, and the Great Alaskan Gold Rush. Each season, AMT presents 180 performances reaching 72,000 school children. Over the past 15 years, our Adventure Musical Theater Touring Company has delighted and inspired over 400,000 students.
Please don't start barking and wake up the rats! Don't drink from that dirty toilet!
It's so fulfilling. It's just one of those things where, connecting with adults is one thing, which is great. Connecting with a child, they will remember you forever. Yeah.
None of our programs are making money. None of them are profit centers for the Fifth Avenue. They all cost us something to do, but it's worth it. And what we get in return are better human beings who have a bigger appreciation of the world around them.
The Fifth Avenue Theater really takes students worlds away from the everyday, not just with the productions we produce, but by taking students behind the scenes, engaging them in meaningful discussions, and allowing them to explore the world around them through musical theater. Why does the Fifth Avenue invest so much time and energy in these programs? because we believe that children who are introduced to the arts at an early age will carry the arts with them for the rest of their lives.
Welcome to the Fifth Avenue Theater. My name is Randy Rogel, and I used to be an actor here in Seattle until I moved to a crazy town known as Hollywood to begin work as a television writer under contract to Warner Brothers. Now and then they're nice enough to let me go away to do a show, and that's why recently I spent 3 months here in Seattle doing some shows at the Fifth Avenue Theater. The first was as a Cockney ragamuffin known as Bill Snipson in Me and My Girl. Find a I might put my arm round you. Oh! Next came Singing in the Rain, and I played the role made famous by Donald O'Connor, known as Cosmo Brown. You see, short people have long faces. Long people have short faces. Big people have little humor. Ooh. This was my date every evening. You know, some leading men get the girl, I got the dummy. Of course, some people say that the dummy got me. You know, there's really no... Come on. Oh. Come on. Oh. Thanks, Dad. You know, there really is nothing like the Fifth. The theater was built in 1926 as a vaudeville house. Everybody who was anybody turned out for the grand opening. You know, more people were on hand for the opening festivities of the Fifth Avenue Theater than attended the celebration of the armistice. They got better ratings in the war. The Fifth Avenue was, and still is, an absolute rarity. Seattle was the gateway to the Orient, so that's what helped inspire the design of the Fifth. You see, it's based on 3 great monuments of ancient Chinese architecture. It's the Summer Palace, the Temple of Heavenly Peace, and the throne room of the Imperial Palace of the Forbidden City. It really is a magnificent theater, and the Fifth did very well for many years. It became one of the premier movie houses in the country. But then the Depression hit and the war, and families started leaving the cities and moving to the suburbs. And in 1978, a half-century after that grand opening, the Fifth Avenue Theater was forced to close its doors. To ward off the wrecking ball, a new way to bring in revenue had to be found. In 1979, 43 companies and business leaders formed the Fifth Avenue Theater Association, a nonprofit with a mission to not only save this national treasure, but to provide it with firm financial footing so that it could thrive and enhance Seattle's rich and diverse cultural community. You see, the goal of the association was to preserve, maintain, and operate the Fifth Avenue Theater as an institution for the performing arts. No longer would it be just a theater, now it would be a live performance theater. The association underwrote a $2.6 million loan for renovations, and the entire project was completed without federal, state, or local funds, which set a precedent among theaters throughout the country. In 1980, the Fifth Avenue became the first facility in the Pacific Northwest to receive the Heritage Conservation and Recreation Service Award from the Department of the Interior. The association also set out to give something back to the community. Proceeds from shows would be reinvested into the Northwest for the benefit of artistic, cultural, and educational activities. Great shows for good causes. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow, you're always a day away. That was the national touring production of Annie, the Fifth Avenue's first show after the 1980 renovation. And I guess that song was an appropriate one to usher in the new era of the theater. The show ran for 11 weeks here at the Fifth, and it was a big hit. And I wasn't in it. The next 4 years, the Fifth Avenue Theater presented over 30 national Broadway tours, operating 48 out of 52 weeks a year, and reaching a subscription peak of 39,000. There was a chorus line, there was Hello Dolly, Pirates of Penzance, Showboat, Sugar Babies, West Side Waltz. Did you know Katharine Hepburn played here? Richard Harris, Mickey Rooney, Lauren Bacall. But the good times were short-lived. In the recession of the early 80s, well, it hit Broadway hard. Few shows opened on Broadway and even fewer went on the road. Hardly any made it to Seattle. But the Fifth Avenue Theater Association decided to regroup, concentrating its efforts to keep the theater lit by making it available to local presenters of concerts, lectures, films, and nonprofit events. The risky nature of touring productions made it tough to package shows in a subscription series, which was the best way for a theater to achieve stability. The association also recognized that Seattle audiences had a clear preference. They wanted musicals. Oh, you can study Shakespeare and be quite an elite.
And you can charm the critics and have nothing to eat. Just slip on a banana, peel the words at your feet. Make them laugh, make them laugh, make them laugh.
Seattle audiences are very unique. They're well educated, they're theater savvy, it's a sophisticated theater market. In Seattle, we have 10 or 11 equity theaters, which is the Actors Union, professional theater companies. City like Houston, fourth largest city in America, there are 2. Seattle has 5, 6 times as many wonderful things going on here. So it's a very discerning audience. They love musical theater here. Most of America does. The American musical is our art form indigenous to this country, so it's natural that you would want to see and enjoy all the big world classics. They're like museum pieces. But the reason we're so successful and have the largest subscription audience in the Northwest is because we alternate between a great classic musical like King and I and a brand new one like Jekyll and Hyde, the new things that we have coming up. So we sandwich some great stars and in classic musicals, and then we also bring in new work. So it's an interesting mix of packaging that makes the audiences want to keep coming to the Fifth Avenue Theater.
Just to learn to be a parrot. Just to learn to be a parrot. And recite a silly rule. And recite a silly rule. If growing up means it would be beneath my dignity to climb a tree, I'll never grow up, never grow up, never grow up. Not me.
Add some rouge, just a pinch or two, start the fan. No, much gustier, stuff that gauze, make her bustier. Ooh, that frock, too much red in it, I would not be caught dead in it. Well, stars have invaded his eyes, silver bells in his voice, sing a hymn to the bird he dreams of. And the world will be better for this, that one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable.
we started very shrewdly. We started small. The first year we had 4 shows, all locally produced with all local actors, bringing in a few stars. Our first production was Mame, starring Juliet Prowse. So we started off with the bang, but it was created and rehearsed here. We had hoped we would get 8,000 subscribers in the first year, and we ended up with 13,000. And in the next 4 or 5 seasons, it's gone up to in the neighborhood of 36,000. It is the largest arts audience in the entire northwest part of the United States, so we're very proud of that.
You know, it's not enough to just maintain good work. If you're a theater, it means you got to work hard to develop new audiences. And that goes back to the mission of the Fifth Avenue Theaters Association, to make musicals accessible to all audiences. Now, they're doing that in a number of ways. The Fifth Avenue provides American Sign Language interpreted performances, as well as audio-described performances. Educational outreach is also a big part of the Fifth Avenue's work. In 1994, a pilot program was launched called Adventure Musical Theater. It's kind of a theater roadshow for kids. It goes from school to school, introducing elementary students to American musical theater. It's through the performances of an original musical. It's fun, it's imaginative, it's interactive, and the program complements the special school matinee programs, which provide reduced-priced 90-minute abridged performances of a full-length Fifth Avenue musical, and it's performed for elementary through high school students. About 30,000 students throughout the Puget Sound area have attended the school matinees since 1990. They're great fun, both for the students and the performers. So the idea is to get musical theater out to as many people as we can, and it's working. The Fifth Avenue has come a long way in bringing great theater to everyone in this community.
Exactly, yes. It absolutely is about creating new audiences. It's where we start. We start with the students. We start with the youngsters. They are our audiences of tomorrow. We either want to see them in the house watching something on stage, watching a great musical on stage, or actually on stage themselves.
Now, one of the big challenges with musicals these days is there's just not a whole lot of new stuff out there. American musicals have relied way too much on revivals of the old shows. So in recent years, part of the mission of the Fifth Avenue Theater Association is to expand the library of American musicals. Now, to do that, you got to create new works. So that's just what we're doing here. After all, you see, it's not hard to write a show, but the tough part is to write a great show. And in 1996, the Fifth Avenue joined forces with Houston's Theater Under the Stars and the Ordway Music Theater of St. Paul to create what's called New Musical Studio USA. A national search was launched to find the best contemporary musical creators, both emerging young artists and established artists, to join in the program of composers, lyricists, book writers, directors, and dramaturgs. They're all contracted and assigned to work as teams to create new works for the musical theater stage. And they're under the direction of the producers of the 3 theaters. You see, the idea is to basically be what Broadway used to be, a major supplier of new and exciting works. The studio's goal is to turn out at least 2 new musicals per year.
The other palaces are the Temple of Heavenly Peace and also the throne room of the Imperial Palace, which is inside the Forbidden City.
Tours are offered to the public every Monday afternoon at 12:30, and lots of people, even folks here in Seattle, have not yet seen the inside of the theater. You know, even some of our patrons don't really get the chance to check out the lush architecture and hear some of the stories behind it. The free tours give people an in-depth look at the history of the theater and the explanation of the Chinese influence and symbolism in the design. See, for example, one of our secrets, you'll find out how to tell the difference between a male and a female foo dog, and just exactly what a foo dog is, for that matter. You know, there's a lot of things that most people don't get to see here at the Fifth Avenue Theater. One of them is our famed wall of bricks. You see, every actor who has ever performed here since 1980 has signed a specially designed brick. It's one of our traditions. We have a brick signed by Robert Goulet when he did Camelot, Carol Channing when she did Hello, Dolly. We have Bill Cosby and George Burns. Here's my name on a brick. This is known as the Gold Brick. The Fifth Avenue Theater, it's a vital part of our community, and it's a beautiful place to visit. And there's a seat waiting here for you.
Got to get to here. Now don't move this leg. You're lunging forward, and now the back leg is straight. So a lot of times when you do this, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold. Oh, that's it. That's big. So this leg. You guys are fine on this. Let's do that again.